Hey Mandy,
Hi, Khalid. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Yes, fine. Considering, what's
Yeah,
going on up there.
yeah.
So this kind of like these tarot readings today, maybe, who knows? We never know what they're going to say. They may present some sort of challenges.
Yes.
I think that's quite possible, um, because there are two planets that are kind of considered the most difficult energies. I mean, everybody's got them in their charts, and everybody's kind of, going to be affected by them in one way or another. But it just happens right now that these two planets, one is Saturn, the other is Mars, are both, well, they've got some certain things in common at the moment. One of them is they are both in their domiciles, which means that they're both in the signs that they rule, which makes them particularly strong versions of themselves. So they have that in common.
Yeah.
They are also the only planets in the sky at the moment that are in the sign that they rule, right?
Right.
And there's another thing called exaltation, which is, it's not where the planet rules, but it's where the planet is very well placed.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's nothing that's in its exaltation
Yeah.
either. So Mars and Saturn are far and away the most kind of successful players
Mm.
up there at the moment. That that will certainly apply up until the end of October, when Venus goes into Libra, which Venus rules. But right now,
Right.
it is just Mars and it's just Saturn that are particularly strong. The other thing that they both got going on that's the same is that they're both retrograde as well
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah.
Both of them. Okay. Um, the reason we're doing this particular reading right now is also because Mars is a faster mover than Saturn, and
Mhm.
Mars has got itself into a position now where it's pretty much squaring the angle between Mars and Saturn is pretty much spot on the degree that
Mhm.
makes it probably its most difficult. And I just feel that everybody's going to kind of like likely to kind of like feel this in one way or another. So
Right.
would you like to sort of just kind of clarify? They are both difficult energies. Could you clarify the difference between the Mars type of difficult energy and the Saturn,
Right.
and then explain about the retrograde part as well?
Right. So basically, I mean, maybe a good way of describing the difference and the source of conflict between these two planets, Mars called the lesser malefic traditionally, and Saturn the greater malefic, is that Mars has a very kind of impulsive, extroverted, aggressive energy that is often compared to adolescent energy. You know, just like a force that does not want to be held back and that just wants to kind of act on whatever impulse it's focused
Yes.
on at the minute, you know, whereas Saturn is all about um, focusing on the responsibility and limits and boundaries. So it's very much about restraining the impulse in favor of the carefully calculated, responsible reaction or decision, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so now, when any planet is retrograde, you know, usually what happens is either it's usual, let's say, and its usual effects get weakened or delayed, or they become dysfunctional. They work in a dysfunctional way. So we always know about Mercury retrograde, what it does to communication,
Mm.
for example, right? Saturn retrograde is a bit more difficult, I think, than the other retrograde patterns that we see with the other planets, because by default, its natural mode is to impose restrictions and delays. right? So when it usually like what astrologers, at least modern astrologers, say about Saturn retrograde is that it kind of belabors the delay effect and turns it in a direction that is not as productive as it could be. So, for example, it'll bring ghosts from the past, like past mistakes, past obsessions, past insecurities, and make them linger in the present in a way that is kind of, it's just not helpful, right? Because they're not really connected to the present, you know. So Saturn stops being retrograde on the 29th of September, which interestingly is also the date when the square between Mars retrograde in Aries and Saturn direct in Capricorn becomes exact, right?
So it's absolutely spot on to the.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it'll be like the aspect will be exact at 9:40 p.m. UK time, September the 20th. Okay.
Wow.
So it's very interesting to me that the same day that Saturn goes direct, so it becomes more natural in in its expression of its Saturnine qualities. It hits Mars bang on, you know, and Mars is still angry and kind of unpredictable in its retrograde kind of phase, you know, and that aspect, meaning Saturn direct in Capricorn, squaring Mars retrograde in Aries, lasts until November 14. After November 14, Mars assumes direct motion, and then both the planets become direct. And then when does, let me just check to make sure to see when Mars leaves Aries.
Mars gets out in January.
Right,
I think
on the 6th of January, it goes into Taurus on the 6th of January.
And Saturn goes out kind of, is it 17th of December? Something like that. But it's really weird because it feels like they are both kind of like the baddies.
Yes.
But it all also, to me, it feels like Saturn is all about the rules and regulations. I mean, everyone hates rules and regulations, but I can't imagine anyone hating rules and regulations more than Mars, because Mars is kind of like the, you know, I'm just going to kind of like do my thing. And I'm just going to do what I feel like doing at the time I feel like doing it. So they are very opposite. And I would imagine they're very against each other in this square position, in their own signs, in this square position, and in this retrograde that's kind of like keeping them there for longer because it's slowing them down and keeping them in those signs for longer. I would imagine this is a challenge. But anyway, shall we just kind of like go for it?
Yes.
So the first two tarot readings today I am doing, and these are for absolutely everybody. So they're quite general, but they are specifically to kind of like get a bit of an idea or maybe a bit of guidance, depends what kind of comes out on them, of like, you know, how to handle this particularly difficult time. It will affect you in one way or another. Now, the only way that we can be really specific about that is if we knew your astrology, and we could kind of like see where in your astrology chart this was hitting, like which area of your life. So these are general readings, but they will manifest one way or another. If you want us to kind of like give you some more info on your personal astrology, please do get in touch, ideally with date, time and place of birth. We will be very pleased to kind of like tell you sort of where your planets are based. And please don't forget to like us, like this video, subscribe, share, whatever, ring the bell, all of that stuff while I think of it. So my two questions are, for everybody, what can we expect, or what guidance is there, what message is there relating to the square between Saturn and Mars. And you gave two lovely questions, actually. So I want to get the wording exactly as you gave it to me. Card number one is, what do we need to beware of, avoid, or do less of? Okay, so this is, I would say, this is probably influenced by Saturn a little bit, this question, because it's, would you not say? So what do we need to beware of? Oh, I don't know, that could be Mars, yeah. Avoid or do less of. That is card number one. And this is directly relating to Saturn overcoming Mars.
So overcoming, just for anyone listening to this video, I mean, this installment in our Tarot series for the first time. Overcoming happens when one planet forms a square aspect with another planet that follows it in the order of the signs. So because Saturn is in Capricorn and Mars is in Aries, and Capricorn is before Aries in the order of the signs, we say Saturn is overcoming Mars.
Okay, thank you very much. And equally, second card, this is, what can we embrace, accept, or do more of? Okay, so, and this is good because this is giving it a chance to actually maybe sort of work well for certain people in certain situations. Okay, so we like to be balanced in our tarot readings. Okay, here we go. So card number one, what to avoid, what to do less of, what to be aware of. Card number two, what to do more of, embrace or accept. Here we go. Card number one, what to avoid, etc., etc. Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, this is a tricky one to avoid, but because this is one that you would want to kind of actually do under normal circumstances, do more of. So, but this is what the universe has sent me. What to do? Let me just get it absolutely right. Beware of, avoid, or do less of this. And this is between now and the 14th of November.
Right.
Well, what I'm getting here, I am seeing this as it's kind of like trying to kind of I kind of like feel that if you are trying to sort of create something, and if you are trying to kind of like create something and you've got a kind of like an expectation that this thing is going to kind of like lead you somewhere, that it has a kind of like it has a path. So it's almost kind of like it's making things work together. So it's not creating something in its own right. It's trying to take one thing and mix it with another thing and create something new and kind of like, and then just sort of see this thing develop with a kind of a life of its own. I would just say, be warned, this might, it might be a lovely idea, but I kind of like feel that things are going to get in the way and make that very difficult for this to happen. So I hate to sort of get in the way of creativity. I absolutely hate it because I'm that sort of person. But I do feel this has come up as more of a kind of like a warning of keep your expectations realistic. That's how I'm sort of reading this. Like, it may be that it is a great idea and it is kind of like something wonderful that, if you put this with this, it's going to kind of like come up with something new and that will lead to goodness knows what. But I feel, and certainly, I mean, we said up until the 14th of November, I would say at least until then, don't have falsely high expectations that it's just gonna all go brilliantly and smoothly and flowingly and everything's just going to be wonderful. Just be prepared that there may be kind of things that just get in the way of that wonderful idea, but don't forget that it is still a wonderful idea, and timing is everything. So I'm not trying to put the kind of the dampers on it, but I'm just saying, if kind of your plans just seem very, very kind of like problematic, it's not that there's anything wrong with the plan, it's just you need to wait a little bit for this time to pass. Do you know which card that is?
I'm inclined to say Three of Pentacles or Eight of Pentacles.
Temperance.
Temperance, wow. Okay, that feels like a loud message right there.
Yes. Yeah. I just think it's such a beautiful card and a beautiful energy. I don't want someone to kind of like feel that they had this kind of wonderful idea or creation and it's just rubbish and it's all gone wrong.
Yeah.
I just think it was bad timing. So I'm not even saying don't go for it, but just you may just find it just all starts to flow more freely once this difficult time has passed. So it's just being aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what is to avoid. So I think it's just avoiding being too hopeful that it's such a good idea that it's all just going to go swimmingly. Don't be surprised if it gets held up with one restriction or another, or one bit of bad luck, destruction or another. Okay. However, what is it that you should do? Let me just read this. Embrace, accept, or do more of. Oh, hello. Okay. What to do more of? I'm going to have to think about this one. Okay, well, the first thing that immediately springs to mind is moon work, right? Okay. Yeah, straight away, I'm saying do moon work. I am also saying, yeah, when you do the moon work, I'm really kind of going here with the meditation. I kind of like feel that with all the kind of like the difficult things going on, start to sort of trust the voice within, if that makes sense. That's giving away the card. Yeah, start to listen to the voice within, and yeah, this is a time when you can kind of like do a little bit more of that. However, she has come up reversed. It's interesting though, because I can see quite a connection between the High Priestess. She's kind of flowy and she's watery, and so is the sort of the Temperance card to me. Yeah, I just feel don't keep it all to yourself. I feel do the moon work and kind of like look at kind of like what your intuition is saying to you. But I feel share it. I feel don't be all kind of like hidden and secretive about it. I just feel be more sociable about it, because I do see the High Priestess as being very sort of private and kind of like, you know, it's all kind of within you, and it does seem like quite a private, personal sort of matter. But I'm kind of feeling that the reversal to me is share what you're getting. And I feel if more people did this and opened up and sort of talked to each other, that would be a good thing, especially with kind of like possible difficulties and just things getting in the way of how you want them to go, rather than bottling it all up. I think listen to your intuition, but then express it, talk about it with other people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. It's they're both quite healing sort of cards in a funny kind of way. I think being creative is a very healing thing. And I feel that I just feel that if you're doing something creative in the attempt to feel better, and then just life is getting in the way and stopping that from happening. That is really, really frustrating.
Yes.
Therefore, yeah, I go back to what I said on the first card. Don't not do it. Just accept the fact that it's not personal to you that it's all going wrong. It's just that it's a difficult time, full stop.
Right.
Those are great ideas. Still kind of develop them, work on them, share it with other people. That is what I'm getting. I mean, it is quite a sight to see those two in a 2-card reading. My part is 2 cards, 2 very kind of major watery sort of cards.
Yes.
You know, and funnily enough, like, you know, Mars is in a fire sign. Water and fire don't get on very well. And Saturn is in an earth sign, so that's a little bit more compatible, I would say, with the water. So the Saturn actually might be a little bit less of the culprit at this time. That's what I'm getting from this.
It's interesting.
What are you getting, Holly?
Yeah. It's like, it's sort of like, I know they're coming across to me as kind of like warning signs or signals about what to expect psychologically or emotionally, both of these cards, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe with actually, I feel like with the Temperance card, it's the influence of Mars kind of prevailing for a bit. Because it's like, yeah, don't expect that you'll maintain your composure. You'll be able to maintain your composure for this stretch of time, which is a pretty long one. And then the other card, it's like intuition blocked, you know, this kind of ideas, a blockage kind of a restriction in the flow of ideas. And that feels like a more Saturnine influence to me, you know? So yeah, I feel like there's like, in the first card, Mars, the influence of Mars is getting the upper hand, and then in the second one, the influence of Saturn is getting the upper hand. Yeah. So yeah.
By the way, they're quite big.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. All right. So I'm gonna ask the tarot now for one advice that will be particularly pertinent for this period when Saturn goes direct in Capricorn and overcomes Mars retrograde in Aries from the September 29 until November 14. Okay. And basically, I'm going to ask for one message that would be helpful for anyone born with Saturn in Capricorn.
Okay.
And another message for anyone born with Mars in Aries. Okay. And if you happen to have both Saturn in Capricorn and Mars in Aries in your birth chart, then it's safe to say that you should expect this period and hopefully the messages that will come out of this reading to be really to resonate strongly with what you're going through and hopefully be helpful also. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So one piece of advice or advance notice of any challenge or obstacle or opportunity for anyone born with Saturn in Capricorn, and another for anyone born with Mars in Aries.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Saturn, Capricorn, Mars in Aries. Ooh. All right. The message that's coming out here is you it'll really help you to accept an extended period of feeling isolated and unable or not inclined to share your feelings, whatever excites you, with other people. Basically, the message I'm getting from this card is that during this period, it would be actually wiser for you to be a bit more antisocial.
Oh, really?
Yes.
This if you've got Saturn in Capricorn, this first one.
Yes, this is for Saturn and Capricorn. Like, don't expect that bonding with friends and stepping out of your kind of the narrow zone within which you know yourself, right? The zone of privacy. Don't expect that stepping out of it and spending time with other people is going to make you feel better, right? It's going to make you feel that you're overcoming the challenge that you're facing during this period. Okay, so it's like expect that you'll have to weather the difficulty inside you by yourself for this time, and as much as you can draw on your own resources. Yeah. So can you guess what this is?
There's a few possible cards there.
Want to guess? It's the Three of Cups reversed. Three of Cups reversed.
It was it? Wow.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh my God. No, very different to the Hermit, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So celebrating with others is not the way to go right now. Yeah. It's I mean it's in a strange way. I know, like, I know it's hard to read anything without referencing what's going on globally, right? The whole the corona outbreak. And I mean, but if you think of all the precautions that so many countries have been taking, right? And all the restrictions and among them, of course, the lockdowns, right? It makes perfect sense for a Saturnine kind of psychology or mentality to take these precautions and restrictions very seriously.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And just abide by the rules. So you say we should be in lockdown, there should be a curfew, we should maintain social distancing.
End of.
Yes. End of. Three of Cups reversed, you know? So I guess maybe, yeah, if you have Saturn and Capricorn in your birth chart, then whatever influences that are heading the direction of like conforming to authority and doing as you're being told to do, those kinds of messages are probably going to have a stronger influence on you.
Which some people may interpret as that being awful, and other people may interpret that as being that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's for the greater good.
Right.
It depends on your perception, doesn't it? And
and I mean, this.
I would totally agree with that card. Is exactly saying that. So yeah.
No, I mean, these cards came out in the spirit of advice. So if you have Saturn in Capricorn in your birth chart, accepting isolation and let's say reinforcing the boundaries between you and other people for this time, it's very likely to be good for you. It might make you feel safer. It might make you feel that, like, you're not behaving in a way that compromises your sense of responsibility, and you might even find that you need this time alone, right? Possibly because the square with Mars, which would be affecting you, right? Maybe, I mean,
Yeah.
depending on where your Saturn is in the degree, right? It might not be affecting you that much, but it will be affecting you. That square is kind of difficult because it's kind of sort of pushing you to express in a way that it might be even premature, right? So yeah, so that's the message for Saturn and Capricorn people. Okay. Now, what about if you were born with Mars in Aries?
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. This one also is another reversal, and it's a fire card.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I think the message here is pretty straightforward and direct. Just expect that things expect and accept that for a long time, possibly, well, no, for the better time, for the better part of this long transit, which is running from September 29 to November 14, you need to expect and accept that things very often are not going to go your way, not going to go as you want them to go, not going to go according to plan. You just need to accept that. Can you guess what it is?
So it's not going to go. Well, you said it was a fire card, so
Yeah.
it's not going to go according to plan. I'm feeling it's the ace reversed.
No, it's the Eight of Wands reversed.
Oh, the 8 reversed. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, with the Eight
So
of Wands,
everything you attempt to do just falls flat. Yeah.
and you know, it really it really feels like it's speaking to that Mars in Aries in retrograde kind of being held back by Saturn,
Yeah.
you know, because it's like Eight of Wands is all of it's like, right? Look at it upright.
Yeah.
All of these wands just flying, seemingly on their own momentum in the air, you know.
Yeah.
So I imagine maybe if you have this placement in your birth chart, you might be feeling a lot like that you want to travel, you know, you want to move around, you want
Yeah.
space, and we're just gonna have to accept that that's not gonna happen for a while, you know. Yeah, and I would
So
say,
if you've got
yeah,
if you've got Saturn in Capricorn and Mars in Aries, that is sort of suggesting that, you know, socializing is mixing with other people, forget it. And in fact, anything that you try to kind of get off the ground, forget it. So
but I'm getting is not so much forget it. So basically what I'm getting from Eight of Wands reverse is
yeah,
that you need to be okay with it not falling into place as you
yeah,
imagine it, right? So you need to be okay with the wands not moving all in the same direction, you
yeah,
know? Except that you're just not going to be able to align things together and like force them into the direction that is your ideal, you know. There are forces here beyond your control. I feel like
yeah.
the absence of any person in this card is kind of an indication. It's an indication of kind of an indication for us to kind of focus on what impersonal forces are moving the ones here, you know, rather than people.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So just be okay with that. It's not all gonna, you know, you might have like two or three wands going in the direction you want one day, um, another two another day, but it's not
yeah.
likely that all eight of those wands are gonna move right where you want them to, right? In the
The
time that you're
best thing
envisioning.
to do It's just kind of admit to your feelings and share it with somebody. Talk about it. Don't just bottle it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that happy note.
Yeah. But at least I feel it's a realistic reading, right?
It is a realistic reading. And I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, we have got Venus in Libra to look forward to, which I
Yeah.
think will sort of like add some joy into things. I mean, it's a few weeks off yet. And we've got some kind of new moons and full moons, whatever
Right.
kind of like coming up. So we will be back, hopefully, with some kind of words of wisdom. But we were particularly looking at just those two very powerful, very difficult energies that are kind of happening right now. But as spiritual programs will say to you, this will pass.
Yes.
This will pass. It will pass in a matter of weeks, really.
2020 has been astrologically a disaster for the most part. So
Yeah.
but we do have something to look forward to.
I would like to think this is the kind of, maybe once this has passed, I mean, we haven't sort of like, we've focused on this for this reading today, but I would like to think once this has passed, which is a very, very difficult placement with the two most difficult planets, but they will just kind of like go off and do their own things separately, and it will become easier. I'd like to think that possibly is the beginnings of things getting better.
Yeah.
I don't know. You need to look at that more deeply rather than me make a sweeping statement. But yes, it might just be this difficult kind of thing, and then things start to loosen up. I can't speak, loosen up. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. Let's hope so.
Ever the optimist. All right. So yeah, don't forget, subscribe, message us with your birth details.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're always happy to do an involved, detailed Astro-Tarot reading for you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And incidentally, Khalid is going to be available on Sunday, if you catch this video sort of like soon, this Sunday, the 20, what date is it? The 27th?
I believe that's correct.
Yes,
yeah.
September.
Yeah.
At what time?
Wasn't it
UK time.
6 p.m. UK time, I think.
6 p.m. UK time. Khalid is going to be online for an hour on Zoom. If you go to the pomegranategrove.com, there's a link, and I'll probably be there as well, actually. But just for a general chit chat about the tarot. So we would love to meet you. So see you.
Please come. I look forward to seeing you there. Please do come.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Bye. Mandy. Take care. Bye.